guys, welcome back to my channel. Baby, am I a joke to you?
No, you're not. How could you be a joke?
Like, I can't deal with this guy. Welcome back to my channel, guys.
Yes, it's her channel.
It is. Guys, before we even get into this video, I just want to say a big thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Ngiyabonga. Guys, okay, siyabonga guys for helping us reach 1,000 subscribers. It means a lot to me. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much for loving the content I put out. Thank you for appreciating it. I see a lot of people even commenting about the music that I put on. Like, I really try to make sure that my videos...
Can I tell you a story about that music?
No.
Okay, babe.
Guys, thank you for loving my music. Thank you so much for loving the content, the quality of it. I appreciate you guys so much. Anyway, as you can see, this mister is wearing his apron. That's because he was preparing some starters for us to be eating while we're filming this video. This video is a video that a lot of you guys were requesting. I've never said those words in my channel. You guys were requesting this video because you saw that we just bought an apartment, and so you had a lot of questions wanting to know what constitutes buying an apartment, the financial implications and all of that. So we're just gonna let you guys into how we found the process and how much we had to pay for certain things. And yeah, so thank you so much to the people who did actually ask the questions on Instagram and some here on YouTube and on Facebook. So let us get into this video. When you are far away and I know that is hard. Okay guys, so the first question was the frequently asked question. It says, how long did the whole process take?
So I think, guys, the process for us was relatively quicker because we had an estate agent who was on top of his game.
Yep.
And I mean, you know, with that guy, we're also impressed. I mean, with how the process unfolded.
Yeah.
Because, so we did our due diligence at the back. Then we're like, okay, we wanted this property. So we filled in those forms on one of those websites. And that guy called us within like 30 seconds. The phone was ringing. We spoke with the guy. We arranged the viewing for the next day.
Yep.
So the next day we viewed the property and we're happy with it and we wanted to proceed with the sale. So whilst that was happening, on that same weekend, he connected us to one of the bond originators so that we could have that affordability study done.
Yep. That is one of the most crucial things, by the way, guys. Yeah. Before you move on, you need to ensure that you basically have pre-qualification or pre-approval to know how much of a bond you qualify for, right? So then when he did that, on that weekend we applied for pre-approval, and then within the week they had, was it within a week or was it 2 weeks when they got back to us telling us how much we qualified
for? It was relatively quicker, I think like 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
And baby, I think I like the point that you always make, you know, to say, if the bank comes back to you and say you qualify for, let's just say,
3 million
a loan of 3 million rand, it doesn't mean go out there and actually look for apartments or houses within that range.
Yeah.
Go within like less. Less. Because that will make life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, because if you go for 3 million, that means you're gonna be paying for a 3 million bond, and my darling, you better be ready with your coins. You better be ready with your coins. So after the pre-qualifications.
Yeah, so after the pre-qualification, we signed an offer to purchase. Then after the offer to purchase, the seller also signed and returned to us.
Yep.
Then we approached bond originator to help us with our finances or applying for a bond.
And then in the midst of that, we then got contacted by the bank, and we then got interest rates. And then we had to basically decide which bank we want to go with, because I think the nice thing about getting a bond originator other than using your own personal bank is the fact that they send your details to different banks. So you have the privilege to choose which bank you wanna go with, which will give you the lowest interest rates, which will will be fit for your pockets. So I'd suggest that you go for that than just going for the bank that you're using. But I think some people always say that if you just go for the bank that you're using, they do kind of give you a bit a little lower interest rate, but I think it's best to compare.
Yeah, I think it's best to compare, because even if you look at us, you know, the bank that we were banking with didn't give us the favorable interest rate.
Yeah.
It had to take offers from other banks for them to actually say, okay,
put it lower.
We'll be able to give it a bit lower.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, once you negotiate with banks on the interest, before you even present your offer to purchase with the seller, also negotiate with the seller, you know, because if the seller says, for example, and they're selling at 1.2 million, that's just their listing price. So if you go to the place, you're like, it doesn't, you know,
it doesn't look like 1.2 million.
1.2, then you'd be like, okay, I can offer you $1 million, you know. And I think that's one good thing. And I think I need to share this tip as well, baby, in terms of offer to purchases. So when you sign your offer to purchase, just make sure and look at those clauses. Because, for example, there's this clause that says once you've secured a bond, what do they say? What do they call it? AIP, agreement in principle from the bank, then your offer to purchase is like legally binding. So you might find that the bank would rip you off and give you a high interest rate, but because you have already gotten that approval, you need to go through with the sale. So just make sure that you look at that offer to purchase as well.
That's a great tip. Okay, should we move on to...
We haven't finished the question.
What's missing?
How long?
Okay.
So I think in summary, because this question has been... So in summary, I would say the process took us like, I'd say 6 weeks. Because I remember, I think we saw this property around the 20-something of May, and we moved in
at the end of June.
So 6 weeks. But when we moved in, the only thing that was remaining was for our conveyancers to actually file all the documents with the deeds office, because of COVID there was a backlog. So that's where we are at the moment. So that's the only process that we can't account for and can't say really how long it will take because of all these things happening.
But for us to actually move into this place, because the place was originally vacant when we saw it, so there was nothing stopping us from moving in. So it took us 6 weeks to move into the place, and
and we're here.
And then, so the second question says, what are the most important things to consider when buying property? And did you use an agent? I think for the agent part, which has already been answered, yes, we did use an agent. What are the most important things to consider when buying property? First and foremost, it's your finances. You basically need to know where your financial standing is, and you need to know it very well, because there is a lot of upfront fees that you're gonna need to pay even before you get to the bond. So I think make sure that you know your financial standing. Make sure that your financial standing aligns with the type of property that you want. Because you can't be a person who can only afford to pay, let's say, 6,000 of a bond, but you want a 3 million rent property. Those do not line up. So I think make sure that your finances and the type of property you want are aligned, and also make sure that you know what type of property you want. For us, it was we knew from the we knew from the onset that we wanted a very modern, a very young, couple-friendly apartment. We did not want a house as yet, because we do want to use this property as an income generator in the future when we move into a house. So we wanted an apartment first. So you want to know whether you want an apartment or a house, or you want a block of flats, if that's what you're into. If you have that type of money. But just know what you want, and know the interior of the place that you want. Because for us, if you are in Durban, you know how horrible Durban places can be. So it's up to you whether you want like the old type of place so that you can fix it up for yourself. For us, we went for a new development with modern finishes, because we were not willing to get into a place and renovate.
I think Ube is being very, very polite. I always say Durban places are SHI, you'll finish the rest, you know, because that's how they are. They're quite ridiculous. But I mean, the other things that you need to look at before you get into properties, the location itself.
Ooh,
which is very crucial, you know.
You want to know location, you want to know security, you want to know the neighborhood, you want to know whether there's schools nearby, you want to know whether there's your church is nearby, your malls and all of that. You want to check all of these things, and you want to check them very thoroughly. I think for us, we were very lucky to have found what we were looking for in a neighborhood that we also really like. So I think what with this one also, that goes with how long it takes. There's a lady who said her and her husband, they've been waiting for like 8 months.
8 months is
they've
quite
been
a long
in the
time.
process for 8 months. So I'm really glad that for us the property was vacant and we can move on. We can move in already. The other question says, how many houses / apartments did you guys view before deciding on this one?
Yeah, so I think with this one, you know, like I said, Durban properties are SHI, you'll finish the rest. So we looked at a few properties, and so we narrowed it down to 2, but this property came on top because of all these things that Gugu mentioned around security, the finishes, and just making sure that it fits the kind of lifestyle that you want. Okay, which question? Okay, the question is, what are some of the costs that came as a surprise to you that weren't disclosed? Want to tackle this one? Are you still chewing? Okay, so I think for me, I remember we were actually with the conveyancers, and they told us that we needed to pay a sum of 10,000 at the time for municipal rates, which is 3 months in advance. But then they said they would correct that figure once the municipality has actually given them the actual rate. So that was a big surprise. And I remember we even we are not like privy to this. We even tried to Google it, and we're
at that time.
Oh, okay.
So that rates amount to us was something that we did not account for. It was something that we did not think of, because we thought it was supposed to be paid by the seller. But then the conveyancers told us that it's actually an amount that we both need to pay. So the seller will pay half and then we'll pay half. So of the 10,000 rands, we only had to pay 5,000 rands. And then the next question says, what influenced your decision to buy the house block of flats that you bought? So as we already said, we bought an apartment, and we've already said what are some of the things that we considered before buying this place. And then this one says, what advice would you give to a first-time buyer that you wish you had gotten before?
I would say 2 things. Number 1, do your research. Number 2, negotiate. Yeah, and I think when I say negotiate, there's negotiate with everyone in the value chain. Negotiate with the seller. Negotiate with the bank. And also negotiate with the conveyancers. You know, because sometimes they'll give you fees, and if you feel like they're too high, try to negotiate. But the best tip there is to just try to see if you can't use the same conveyancers for your bond and transfer, because if they're doing everything, number 1, it speeds up the process because it's being handled by one firm, and number 2, because it's one firm, we are able to negotiate to say, guys, you know,
take it down a notch.
Yeah, and even with the seller, you can negotiate your purchase price. You can also negotiate your occupational rent, which is very crucial, especially if you want to move in to the place relatively quicker.
So that's something that we had not told you. For us to move in when we did, even before the whole process was concluded, is because we opted to pay occupational rates. So how that works is basically, you can discuss this with the seller to say, my guy, so for us, where we were living, our lease was coming to an end at the end of June. So then we said, my guy, since we're already in the process of buying the place, our lease is ending. Is it possible for us to pay occupational rent for that 1 month and occupy the place already? And it was a no-brainer. He was like, yes, because you find that even the sellers know that exactly, they'd rather get something other than just having a place that's sitting there doing nothing. So for that 1 month, we were able to just pay that occupational rent, and of course we negotiated it, and it was basically the same amount that we were paying in our old place. So Okay, the next question says, what was the whole process? But we've already mentioned the whole process, but she also continues to say, especially financial wise. So for this one, baby, I know that a lot of people will tell you what the financial implications are, but I actually want us to go deep and say, this is how much we paid for this process.
Okay. And I think on that note, baby, you remind me of something that I hate. And what I hate more is these people would advertise something on Facebook and be like, inbox me for a price. Inbox me for a price.
Like, what does that even mean?
Why don't you just say, I'm selling this, here's the price. They want you they want them to be inboxed. So with us, I think the pre-approval is free, which is one thing. Offer to purchase, if someone sells you an offer to purchase, that's also free. And usually your estate agent will help you with that. Then when it comes to the costs, so there's bond registration, then there's transfer costs, then there's transfer duty, then what else is there? Then there's this fee, I'm not sure if it will be applicable for you, but where we had to pay the municipal rate 3 months in advance. What else is there?
Initiation fee.
Yeah, bond initiation fee, and
what else?
I think that's it.
And then it was the occupational rates.
Yeah.
So take us through how much we actually had to pay for each.
Yeah. So with our figures, because we're using the same conveyancers, I think they first gave us a quote of like 65K, but we were able to negotiate and reduce that to 57K. So that's for your bond registration and your transfer costs. So just to give you a hint, so when we initially wanted to buy this property, it was over R1 million, but then through negotiations, we got it to just below R1 million. So we didn't
Not
pay,
just below R1 million.
Yeah, below, believe it. Then we didn't pay transfer duties. So with transfer duties, if you buy property that's over R1 million, you pay transfer duties. Then initiation fee, it's a given. You pay to be given a credit. Yeah.
You pay for the loan to go through, basically.
Yeah.
And so for
that's it.
Again, the initiation fee, negotiated. Nothing is cast on stone with these things, guys. Nothing at all. So you've mentioned the transfer costs, the transfer duties, the initiation fee. How much was the initiation fee?
I forgot a very important one.
How much was the initiation fee?
Initiation fee was around 6,500.
But of course, you can negotiate that down. And the deposits.
Which is very crucial, guys. I think I need to stress this one on deposit. Because what the deposit does, number one, it shows the seller that you are serious, number one. It also shows the bank that you're serious. And the way the bank, for banks to show you how serious you are is when you have a deposit, they actually give you a favorable interest rate. So if someone without a deposit and someone with a deposit,
there's a difference.
Yeah, they won't get the same interest rate. So make sure that you have a deposit. But then again, if you don't have a deposit, because not all of us have some stacks of money lying there, apply for 100% bond. And even if you can't pay these fees that we said are upfront, you can actually speak with your bond to actually give you 105% bond or whatever percentage, so that you are able to also cover those costs. But then again, interest is public enemy number one. So just make sure that you have some money to reduce your initial debt.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you can say, can you please include these in the bond and have 105? But that will basically mean you will be paying more than someone who has paid all of those fees upfront. Okay, so I think we have covered all the finances.
There's one cost that we didn't mention, baby.
What is that?
Insurance, life cover.
Yes. So if you are gonna be taking out a bond, the bank needs to know that they will get their money no matter what happens to you. If you lose your job, if you get disabled, if you die or whatever, they need to know that
If you run
away, they need to know that they will still get back their money. So what happens in most times is that the bank will then ask you, do you have life insurance, or unemployment insurance or whatever, so that they know that they can get their money. If you don't have it, they will then say, maybe the bank will say, we actually offer that type of insurance, or you can opt to look for your own. But as long as they know that they will get their money, they will require insurance. That was a very important one. Okay, so this one says, again, this one says, how did you choose the place? I've already mentioned that. And this one is asking, how does it feel being a homeowner? Have you adjusted yet?
Guys,
look at how we're sitting right now, okay? Okay?
But for this one, I got it dropping, hey? Because I remember when we got this place, I was like, yes. And people was like, yay! And yeah.
Guys, I think Mondwami, I'm still trying to teach him how to appreciate everything. Like, I mean everything. Because I'm the type that I celebrated when we got the cars. I was like, yay! Oh my gosh, first cars! You know, and he was like, you know, and now we bought property, guys. And I was like, oh my god, yay! And he was like, yay! I'm like, what is wrong with you? So I was like, nah fam, you will celebrate. But I think when we eventually moved in, then it got real for him, and he was like, yeah. So yes, it felt great. We are slowly but surely settling in, especially with having all the furniture, and I get to decorate. I'm very happy. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm happy. So this one says, hi GU, is your house registered in 2 names since you guys live together?
Yes, I think that's the simplest.
That's literally
answer, yeah.
Yes, it has both of our names. Everything is written 50-50 with Gugu and Tebo. And then the last one says, actually I was waiting for somebody to ask this.
Yeah.
It says,
I need a drink. I need a drink.
It says, so since you guys are not married, basically it was directed to me, because most of these things are directed to the ladies. It says, since you guys are not married, why would you do yourself the favor of buying property with just a boyfriend? So
let me clear my throat.
Then I'm hot.
So I think, guys, what's very important, you know, in these cases, number one, whether you buy property with a boyfriend or with a wife, it really doesn't matter in the great scheme of things. The most important things, which goes down to relationship 101 or way before, is the foundation that you have in the relationship. Number one, is this the person you want to build your life with? Do they have those qualities, you know, that make you, I'm choosing this person every day, no matter what? That's number one. Number two, I mean, you could be married, buy property, divorce, same situation. Boyfriend and girlfriend, break up, same situation. But then there are mechanisms that the bank puts in place, because this is their money until we pay off the property. So there's a whole lot of mechanisms which will take care of that situation. But then again, in my case, I'm not in the business of just playing around. I'm in the business of building, you know. I have a construction company. So I think for me, it just makes the process a bit easier. But again, it just boils down to, where do you see yourself with this person that you're with, and they're willing to invest. Because let's face it, relationships are an investment, you know. Might go bad, might go good, but then that's on a judgment. How is this person, and are you getting the same level of investment back? What's the ROI? I
think guys, as we just said, you guys, so to quickly answer you babes, for us, we know where our relationship stands, we know where we've been, we know where we're going. Most importantly, as he just said, we're not in the process of playing around. But also for us, just to clear your mind, for us, getting married was not the objective right now. We did not want to get married and go back to our rental, for instance. We wanted to get married at the point where we know that we can go back to our own place. So we decided to priorities, exactly. So for us, that was not the priority, but this was. But yeah, I think this is where we're just gonna end this video, baby.
Yes, I'm enjoying my food. Hey?
I think, ooh, the starter was very good. You're doing well. Thank you. Anyway, guys, I think this is where the questions end. If there is still a question that you'd like to know or something you feel we didn't answer, you are more than welcome to hit me up on Instagram or on the comment section. We will find a way to answer any other question that you feel was not answered. But for now, this is where we're gonna leave.
But
this
before we
video.
end, baby, I need to, you know, put in my attorney attire and say, guys, just a disclaimer. This doesn't constitute financial advice. Please do your research. This was just a reflection of our own journey, which might not be similar to yours. So this is not in any way nothing but the truth or the Bible version of how to get into property. There's
so many journeys for different people, but we were just sharing what we went through. So guys, I think this is where we're gonna end this lovely video with this handsome man of mine.
Thank you.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah. Bye.